beautiful this blue world could be until you smiled at me. Until today, I never thrilled until today.
That's enough of that. What we need is something a bit brighter to cheer us up.
I don't think you'll find much there, Jack. All the really good stuff soon goes astray.
Oh well, it doesn't matter. We don't need cheering up. Marriage, honeymoon, it's all been too perfect, hasn't it?
Now then, that's enough of that. You'll be giving this place a bad name if you can't control yourselves. Now wait a minute, there must be something we can do to brighten things up a bit. What about you, Mr. Thornton? You must have something to contribute. Maybe you could sing us a little song, or do a little dance, or show us a new card trick.
Leave it alone, Jack.
I'm only asking a fair request.
We're not all as flash and as pushy as you are.
I've done me comic songs. Jock and Madge have sung their duets. Our newlyweds here have been, well, nothing but an all-round laugh from morning till night. Even our ever-obliging host, Johnny Pacey, went and pulled a rabbit out of his hat. And what have you done, sir? Nothing. Nothing at all. Well, now's your chance, isn't it?
Well, I may not want to take a rabbit out of a hat, but I might be interested in putting one back.
Well, once you've got your rabbit, that's a pushover, isn't it?
Not the way I'd do it.
Oh, and how'd that be?
I'd put it back so completely, you might think that you've never had it.
Never have had it? What the dickens are you talking about?
No, I'm not sure I follow you at all, Mr. Thornton.
You mean, even if you succeed, it won't be worth the trouble, don't you?
Not necessarily, but you might allow me to see whether you find it worth the trouble.
You'll have to explain it better than that, Mr. Thornton.
Too right, he will.
Well, it's like this, you see. Everything has its reverse aspect. Positive is a reverse of negative, good of evil, light of dark, and creation of decreation.
What do you mean by decreation? You're not suggesting that you could decreate the rabbit, are you?
I could decreate the rabbit. I could decreate you.
Decreate one of us? I'd like to see you try.
Now, steady on a moment. I think perhaps we better stop right now before we go too far and get right out of our depth.
Well, yes. Perhaps it might be best to change the subject altogether.
Oh, no, you don't. Oh, no, no. You're not getting away with it that easy. Not by a long shot, my dear sir.
But you see, I shouldn't be the one to get out of it.
It's all rubbish. Schoolyard stuff. Gobbledygook.
To explain what I'm talking about is actually quite simple. If you insist on going ahead, of course.
Now he's trying to scare us off.
I can frighten you quite easily, but that's beside the point.
Well, what is the point?
Most of us make or create something which appears to have no previous existence. There's another process which is of equal interest if we study it. It's the process of making something which does exist cease to exist.
Sounds a bit like murder to me.
Well, it might be called murder of a kind, but it's not murder in the sense that you imply. If I stuck a knife through your heart, your body would cease working. But by decreating you, I'd eliminate your body as well as your life. I'd eliminate everything connected with you and all you'd ever done. You'd be erased from the pages of history. Not even the memory of you would remain.
How horrid.
Well, odd. Oh.
I only hope whoever's going to go doesn't forget to pay me for their room and board.
That's a good one, Jack. Always keep your eye on the bottom line.
Well, do we wish to proceed, or would we rather not?
Yeah, why not? It's all just schoolboy stuff, isn't it? Just a joke, a bit of a laugh, right?
That, from my point of view, is the only fly in the ointment.
You mean it will be a joke?
Those who remain will see it as such, and I shan't, can't, and won't attempt to correct them. How could I, without having anything material to prove my point? So I must agree that it is a joke, to save fruitless talk and a charge of what is commonly called black magic.
Well, what do you know about that? We're asked to believe in black magic, but as soon as we ask for a sample, we're denied. Because, mark you, that wouldn't prove it. Excuse a spot of hilarity, won't you?
Certainly, but you've missed one rather important point.
What's that?
I haven't refused to give you an example.
Hey, what's he talking about now?
I don't know about you, but I'm out of this. Your trunk's packed, darling, mine isn't. I'm off and away, I'll see you upstairs.
Now wait a minute, love. Wait a minute. You're taking it all too seriously. It's only a bit of fun after all.
Fun? You surely don't believe him, do you?
Of course not. And you're not going to either. Let's see it through together.
Good for you, son. Oh, by the way, one small point, Mr. Thornton. Who's going to be eliminated?
Well, if it's one of us, dear, I hope we both go together.
To answer your question, I don't know. I start the process, but once that's done, it's entirely out of my hands. The choice isn't mine.
Then whose is it?
The processes.
Ooh, perhaps the process will choose you.
Well, perhaps it will. And in that case, I shan't have to listen to your howls of triumph, shall I? Well, if everyone wants to proceed, can someone please turn out the lights?
Is that really necessary?
It's advisable. I did do this once in the light, and there came a time when, well, let's not talk about that. Just turn out the lights and we can proceed. Please, no, please don't touch the fire. We don't want any more light than is absolutely unavoidable.
All lights off then.
Very well. I shall now proceed. In this darkness, one of us will slip away forever. I can tell you how this happens, but to whom or why it will happen, I don't know. Please remain silent, remain still. Only make the movement I shall shortly tell you of, if you can. If you can. Now, do you feel something against your throat? That's how it starts. Something soft and fluttery. Just a sensation at first, as though a large and extremely soft moth were beating its wings against your thorax in a feeble effort to fly. Whoever's feeling this is thinking, oh no, not me, not me. This is happening to someone else, not to me, but it will go, it will go. I'm imagining it, so it will go. But it's not going, is it? Is it? Others are experiencing the same sensation. Not only the chosen one, others too. But this is only nervous apprehension. No decreating process is accompanying it, no elimination of physical or mental matter. Afterwards, you will remember it. Afterwards, you will talk about it. But now you're wondering whether there's any afterwards for you at all. Let me end your wondering. I can spare you all, but one. Listen. Move your hand. Gently, gently. Can you? If you can, a further span of this overprized existence remains yours. You will continue your pleasures, your pains, your joys, sufferings, lovings, and loathings. But if you can't, if you try to move your hand and there's no movement, if you try to cry and there's no voice, if you try to think and there's no thought, only the fluttering becomes more and more intense, more and more suffocating, a body invading your own until you've become one with it, a sponge sucking out your being, a small mist, a large mist, a limitless mist, sweeping you away, away into the fog of eternity. Where are you? Who are you? Who were you?
Oh, blimey, what's that now, for God's sake? Jack, quick! Turn on some blinding lights! Is it all over and done with now, or what?
Is everybody here? Is everybody here?
Yes, I think so. All present and correct as far as I can see.
Thank God for that.
Oh yes, I'm so glad it's all over and done with.
Ah, what did you expect? I told you it was all just a bit of a leg pull. But quite well done, I have to admit.
I was certain you were all for it.
No, mate, not me. I'm indestructible, I am.
Well, I'm sorry if I startled you. But you did ask for an entertainment.
Accept my apologies, mate, and congratulations. It was a bloody good show all round.
Oh, yes, it's so realistic.
Perhaps too realistic, but it was a bit of fun, wasn't it?
The pleasure was all mine.
Oh, Mr. Pierce, is there any chance of getting me and my trunk to the station tomorrow?
No problems at all. I'm driving the Williamses over, and there's plenty of room for one more.
Well, I'll see you all in the morning.
Night, mate. See you in the morning.
Good night, Jake. Sleep well.
Night, folks.
Good night. Good night, dear. It's been a lovely weekend, hasn't it? What a pity you are here all by yourself. You should have brought a little lady friend along with you to keep you company. Come to think of it now, my eldest sister knows a little girl living just down the road from her. And such a pretty little thing she is too. And she works in a bank just like you do. Now, if you like, I can talk to my sister and she can bring her to your place, or you meet after work some evening. You never know.